The Astros get their season off to a solid start as they take 2 out of 3 from Juan Soto in the New York Mets. The pitching did more than enough to win us this series, but the offense certainly could have done better as they scored, I believe, only 6 runs, if I'm not mistaken, across those 3 games. So, there's a lot of stuff that the offense certainly needs to do better on, but we're going to talk all about it. After the Astros were absolutely humiliated by the Yankees in a 4-game set at Minute Maid Park, or at least what it was formerly called at that time, they responded triumphantly by taking 2 out of 3 from the other team in New York, the New York Mets, at Daikin Park. This was a huge series win for the Astros when you look back at the fact that they had gotten swept by the Yankees to start their season, which then influenced their bad start. And instead, they've taken 2 out of 3 from the Mets, which, and hopefully this will influence a much better start for us, even though that our roster overall has certainly changed, particularly our infield. And with Kyle Tucker gone, Alex Bregman gone, Ryan Presley gone, and certainly the depth, or lack thereof for that matter, is certainly a big question that the Astros had faced heading into camp this season. But personally, man, I do still believe that this team is still going to be making a good run this season, hopefully making a good playoff run. But it's too early to tell how well they'll play in the playoffs. But this is a great start, so let's talk all about it. So starting with opening day here, the Astros got engaged early. They drove it. They ended up scoring 3 runs over the first 3 innings, 1 in the second and 2 in the third. Those would unfortunately be the only 3 runs they'd score in this game. But to be honest, that was more than enough for them because the pitching was almost nails. In this game, Ryan Abreu and Josh Hader had flirted with a bit of disaster as Ryan Abreu had gotten the bases loaded, but he had extinguished that threat with a Francisco Lindor lining out on 1 pitch. And then Josh Hader also loaded the bases, but this time with no outs. He unfortunately could not preserve the shutout late, but after appearing to be pitching around Juan Soto, he would end up rallying back to strike him out. So overall, that was a very good first opening day win for the Astros to start their season. That's their first opening day win since 2022 and their 14th in the last 11 years, and their 11th in the last 14 years. So excited for that. But unfortunately, those good vibes would be lost in game 2 of this series, as despite the Astros coming in with such positive vibes, would end up falling silent offensively in game 2 of the series by a final score of 3-1. Juan Soto, who has certainly been an Astros killer over the course of his career since his tenure with the Nats, was responsible for one of those runs on a home run. But the Astros would respond right away with a solid quality start by Spencer Arrighetti. The Astros pitchers in this series were absolutely spectacular in this series. That was a big strength for us last year, and it's still proving to be the case for us this year, with all 3 of them throwing quality starts. Spencer Arrighetti in this final game will hold the Mets to just 1 run over 6 stellar innings and a terrific start to his sophomore season. The only blemish for him was a run that he had surrendered in the 6th inning. He had sent down the Mets in order from innings 2 through 5 after a 21-pitch first inning that included a Juan Soto double, which was only his 3rd hit this series. The Astros, by the way, one of the big keys that I feel like the Astros had going into the series was keeping Juan Soto in check, and I think they did exactly that. He only had 3 hits over the entire series, 1 in each game, and I think that is like best case scenario. But staying on track here, after Spencer Arrighetti had walked Jose Siri, the former Astro, the Mets' 9-hole hitter, to start the 6th inning, he ended up watching him steal second, take third base on a Francisco Lindor fly ball with 1 out. And then after Juan Soto had hit a sharp 1-hopper back to Arrighetti, he fielded it cleanly, quickly looked back towards Siri at third base and briefly freezing him, but that's when things went awry. After he had successfully made the throw to first base, Jose Siri was charging towards home plate, and he ended up scoring to eventually tie the game. Personally, I think this was probably just a mental error on Jose Siri's part, but all things considered, he did a lot of things right on this play. So, given the fact that it's still early on into the season, I'm not going to be mad at him, because like I said, he did a lot of things right. But it would not stay tied for long, as Jordan Alvarez, who was coming in looking to hopefully get himself going after pretty much going hitless in the first 2 games, was able to rip an RBI double off of the right center field wall, scoring Isaac Paredes from first base with 2 outs to give the Astros a 2-1 lead that they would not relinquish for the rest of the game, with Brian King, Brian Abreu, and also Josh Hader being the three guys to record the final 9 outs for the Astros and get them the series victory. Something I did fail to mention, by the way, the Astros also were coming into this game as the only team in the majors without an extra base hit, and that is a first for the Astros ever, but Jeremy Pena would immediately change that in the 5th inning as he would hit a solo home run that just barely cleared the Crawford boxes with it to give the Astros both their first home run and also their first extra base hit of the season as a team. Obviously, I mean, this first home run was not like a super dominant, was not like a super towering home run or anything like that. But I mean, given the fact that it would have only been a home run at Dyken Park, but home runs are home runs, and I'm not going to complain about them. So overall, like I said, good first home run, good overall win. It was a rather close one, but pitching, of course, is what wins you these close games. And the Astros, I mean, although they do technically blow wins like this at times, they certainly did a lot of it last year. I mean, if you have good pitching, then they're going to be winning you a lot of these close games like this one was. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Overall, this was a very, very good series win to start the season. Again, when you look back at what had happened last year with us getting swept by the Yankees to start the season, which then influenced the bad start. Hopefully, this will be influencing a good start. I mean, time will tell how well we'll perform for the rest of this full month of April, but so far, so good. So anyway, guys, like I said, that's going to do it for this video. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed. If you want to watch any of my other videos, click these 2 cards here that are above my shoulders. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed, like I said, and I'll see you guys in the next one.